Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today NEUP just filed an 8-Tay and I am seeing a small but interesting cash injection that hints at future potential. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing is all about a revenue distribution payment they received, and it shines a light on a past collaboration and its potential future payoffs. So, this is a current report filed by Neuphoria Therapeutics Incorporated. They are a company focused on healthcare and biotechnology, and they've got a pretty small market cap of around $29 million with just 7 employees. Recently, we've seen some choppy news for them, like a failed anxiety disorder drug trial back in late 2025. But today's filing is about something a bit different, a bit more positive. The big news here, the reason for this filing is that on May 21st, 2026, Neuphoria Therapeutics Incorporated received a revenue distribution payment. It is not a massive amount, but it comes from their participation in something called the Former Cancer Therapeutics Cooperative Research Center, or CTx CRC. This payment is linked to their licensing of a program called CTx to Pfizer, incorporated after the first patient started in a phase 3 clinical trial for a specific type of breast cancer. Now, what is really interesting is what this payment implies for the future. Based on how they've been involved in these programs before, Neuphoria believes they might be eligible to receive a percentage of future milestone payments. They estimate their share could be around 4.65% of future milestones if they happen. The total value for all 17 parties involved in this CTx CRC collaboration is estimated to be a hefty $460 million US. Imagine getting a piece of that. To understand this payment, we need a little background on this CTx CRC. It was a research center that started way back in 2007 and received funding over several years. It wrapped up its operations in December 2020 and evolved into a private company called Canthera Discovery. Throughout its existence, Connecticut XCRC wasn't just funded by government programs, it also brought in money from its 17 partners through licensing revenues and other funding. And guess what? Neuphoria Therapeutics, which was previously known as Bionomics Limited, was one of those 17 partners. The CTx CRC was all about cancer research. They focused on developing treatments for various cancers, and they were particularly strong in areas like epigenetics and immuno. Oncology, they successfully licensed out multiple drug discovery projects for their partners. Working with big names in the pharmaceutical world like MSD and Pfizer Incorporated, Neuphoria as one of the partners has already benefited from this collaboration and hopes to keep benefiting from future milestone payments and royalties as these license programs continue to advance. Let's look at the revenues they've received so far from this partnership. It is like getting little bonuses from past work. In 2016, they got about 967,583 Australian dollars as part of an agreement between MSD and the CTx CRC. Then in 2018, another 654,149 Australian dollars came in when CTx CRC licensed 2 targets to Pfizer Incorporated. There were smaller amounts in 2020-2021, 2022-2020-2023, and 2024 from their participation and ongoing licensing activities. But then comes the recent piece in 2026. They received 120,298 Australian dollars from the CTx CRC's licensing of a target called FARC. And then the big one, 1,416,026 Australian dollars from the CTx CRC's licensing of 2 targets to Pfizer Incorporated just on May 21st. So in total since 2016, these KRC trusts have given Neuphoria Therapeutics Incorporated about 3.5 million Australian dollars. That is a solid amount for a company with a $29 million market cap. It shows that even older collaborations can keep paying off. Now, like with any company making announcements about the future, there is always a section on forward-looking statements. This is basically where they say, hey, what we're talking about here involves some guesswork, and things might not turn out exactly as we predict. They use words like predicts, believes, potential, and anticipates. They're essentially warning investors that actual results could be different due to various risks and uncertainties. It is standard legal language, but it is always good to keep in mind that the future is never guaranteed. The report itself is signed by Spyridon Papatropoulos, the Chief Executive Officer, on May 26, 2026. So, what is my take on all of this? On one hand, this filing shows a positive cash inflow from a past venture. It reconfirms that the company's strategy of licensing out programs, even those originating from older collaborations, can indeed generate revenue and potentially significant future milestone payments. For a small company like Neuphoria Therapeutics Incorporated, every bit of cash counts, and this 1.4 million Australian dollar payment is a good boost. The fact that they believe they are eligible for future milestone payments from a potential $460 million pool is the real story here. It is not guaranteed money, of course, and they themselves admit they can't control whether those milestones are met, but it is a tangible sign of potential upside from their past work, particularly with drug development giants like Pfizer Incorporated. Given their recent struggles like that failed trial in late 2025, this news is a welcome development. The risk I am watching is whether these potential future milestones will actually materialize, and if Neuphoria Therapeutics Incorporated can navigate the development pathway successfully to receive them. What I am actually looking for is any further clinical trial updates or news on the CAT6 program advancing in its phase, the third trial, because that will be the key trigger for any future payments. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded, like, comment, subscribe, and join our Discord, linked in the description.